What is going on YouTube? It's Angus from Boss Fitness and bringing you a super exciting video today focusing on how to dominate the breakfast buffet while traveling so that you basically don't fuck up your fat loss results. So I'm here right amongst the buffet just now. It is currently I think 9:30 or 9:40, so we've got about 40 minutes to play with before they cut off breakfast access for the day. What I'm going to be showing you is walking you through exactly what's available here and give you some insight into which sections are the best to be able to stock up and which sections are pretty sort of, you know, the ones that you sort of should avoid, so that you can make sure that you enjoy all the foods, maximize the buffet, because obviously this sort of thing is what you pay for in advance, and you want to make obviously the most of it so that you can feel full. But obviously what we want to make sure is that you don't obviously sabotage your results and, you know, obviously wind up heavier when you get back home. So I'm going to take you through what's available here, and yeah, let's dominate the breakfast buffet. Get excited guys, it is buffet time. So over here at station 1, we have got basically the pastries, the cakes, the biscuits, the donuts, this sort of section. And of course this sort of shit tastes absolutely amazing. But this is the sort of stuff which is going to be probably the most calorie dense out of everything that you'll see out of the whole buffet section. And of course, yes, it tastes nice, but what you need to be wary of is that obviously if your goals are muscle gain, well, then you're going to have more calories to work with. But if your goals are fat loss, if you eat this sort of stuff, you're going to obviously, you know, yes, it will taste awesome and your taste buds will be happy campers. But the bummer here is that you'll chew through a shitload of calories in the way that this sort of stuff, obviously, yes, your body can use the energy that comes from it, which is awesome, but because it's going to have a minimal amount of nutrients, you aren't going to be nourished in terms of, like, you know, slow release energy for very long. So in other words, you're going to get hungry not long afterwards. So in other words, when it comes to breakfast, obviously while traveling, you want to make sure that what you're choosing is going to fuel you, because you likely won't be eating next until lunchtime or later on because of all the shit that you got going on during the day. So this sort of section is one where you want to try and use sparingly, so try and avoid it altogether, or use, like, stick to maybe picking one thing from it, and have that towards the end. That way it's kind of like your dessert breakfast, if you know what I mean. So next up we have the cereal section, and this sort of stuff is obviously, you know, lots of different choices. Obviously you can see here where I am, we've got Milo, we've got the yummy sort of stuff, and then we've got the boring stuff. It's kind of like oat bran and you know, sort of like what do you call it? Rice bubbles, that's what it's called, and granola and those sort of different dried fruits and stuff like that. And of course this sort of stuff is yum. If I actually was going to be eating cereal, I actually didn't eat any in this video. I would actually be opting for something like all bran, because you can eat quite a lot of it for not very much calories, and of course it's going to be loaded with fiber. Naturally, obviously the yummiest stuff out of all of this is to opt for the Milo cereal or the granola, because that stuff tastes fucking amazing. But the bummer here though is that this stuff is going to come with a pretty laden amount of calories, meaning that it's going to chew through a lot of your intake and you're not going to feel very satiated from it. In other words, not very full. And yeah, so cereal is good, but hey, it all comes down to personal choice. This is what it's all about when it comes to buffets. Obviously choosing the stuff that's going to be, you know, tickling your fancy based on what you're feeling keen for. You can see here that there's a few different dudes cooking stuff. Yes, that's obviously pretty cool because it means that it's fresh and it's not stuff that's been sitting there for years. We now move into the spread section. So obviously when it comes to things like spreads, you kind of got hit and miss here. In other words, some stuff is going to be absolutely laden with calories, some stuff not so much. But regardless, most of the time, this stuff obviously does have quite a lot of sugar. So I'm not saying sugar is bad in any way, shape or form, but understand that because this isn't artificially sweetened, obviously sugar, it's got lots of carbs and therefore quite a lot of calories. And because it's not complex, the energy that you get from it isn't going to last you for too long. So be sort of sparing with this. When I had some Nutella while filming this video, that's actually what I chose, and I had about 20 grams worth, so in other words a teaspoon, just so that it was enough to actually give you that taste of it, but not absolutely let loose. The ice cream section being the next one. This stuff obviously amazing. Who doesn't love ice cream? Ice cream is the bee's knees. And then based on what you would choose here would determine sort of, you know, if it's going to be calorie rich or, you know, calorie poor, if you will. Typically gelato or you know, the sherbet sort of based ice cream and stuff like that will usually be lower in calories because it won't have as much fat content. But when it comes to everything else, like the good stuff we all know, like the cookies and cream and the Nutella type ice cream and all that sort of stuff, you know, sort of obviously it comes down to preference here, but be wary that obviously the higher the calories, the less that you'll be able to consume of, okay? I actually didn't eat any ice cream in this video, given the fact that it's just too dense for me. I knew that I wanted to stock up as much as I could on the stuff that is going to be nutrient dense and relatively calorie low. You'll see here that there's this chick here. She's actually cooking up a few different things. This is basically the pancake station. So obviously amazing. You can whip up some amazing creations here because they've got crepes, they've got pancakes and all sorts. This is typically a very common scenario that you can get access to when it comes to buffets. I'd suggest that you sort of leave this area altogether until the end, and that way obviously you're full from everything else, and you're using just a little bit of your appetite allocated in terms of what you've got left to the pancakes and stuff themselves. If it were me, I'd actually opt for a crepe, and in terms of toppings and stuff like that, you'll see here there's a few different ones going on in terms of chocolate and berries and things like that. I would actually opt for, rather than the dried fruit and the nuts and the chopped chips, I would actually personally opt for the berries or the cherries. Of course, it will still have sugar, but you know, hey, it's kind of just like choosing fruit over chocolate, you know. All comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. Either way, you can't go wrong with pancakes. They're absolutely amazing. Obviously waffles and stuff like that as well. Amazing food, but usually it will have quite a lot of calories, so be wary of that as well, all right? What was really awesome, I found, at this buffet that I'm at, is that they've also got a lot of Asian-inspired food, which is obviously, you know, given the fact that it's in Thailand and in Phuket. So I'd encourage you that based on where your buffet is at, try and experiment with new foods and expand your actual palate so that you are truly embracing all aspects of food when it comes to meeting your goals. And if you're a flexible dieter like me, this is essentially what it's all about. It's about choosing foods that you know, fuel you for happiness and for lifestyle, to actually be able to meet your lifestyle demands, and you know, making all foods work for you rather than just being stuck in a box of just a few select foods. You'll see here as well, this is something that was really awesome. It was a cool feature that this buffet has, which is an actual juicing section. So this lad at the back, he's pumping stuff into the cold press juicer, and obviously this stuff featured in the bottles and stuff like that. Obviously isn't, you know, juice from that, it's actually bottled juice. But over here, you'll see here is that there's freshly juiced stuff. So in other words, fruit, vegetables and stuff like that. So actually after filming this video, I actually had a shot of ginger because I did ginger. I was like, oh yeah, let's give that a bash. Very, very bitter, but as we know, ginger, very, very nutrient dense in terms of its qualities and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's embrace my inner YOLO. Had some beetroot juice as well, which is pretty cool. So, you know, get creative, enjoy this sort of stuff because it usually will be very low in calories. So, you know, have a bit of a juice, get sort of creative. Over here, you'll see that we went into some of the hot foods. Now, this is the stuff which obviously I believe should form the crux of a lot of your sort of food choices when it comes to smashing the buffet. Yes, fruit and stuff like that. I typically have that for the dessert, if you will, when it comes to buffets. But what I think should actually form the crux of your meal choices and stuff is where you're going to get the most protein from. So things like special fried rice and noodles and stuff like that, obviously amazing, but this sort of stuff will usually be loaded with fat and with carbs, and actually quite minimal in protein unless you sit there picking out all the meat, okay? Which we all see that guy or that chick doing that, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, don't be that person, okay? Actually go and choose the stuff that you know is gonna have the most nutrients, okay? Because this is the stuff you can eat the most of, which will have the less amount of calories. So this is the stuff you're seeing now. This is the sort of stuff that I loaded my plates with, lots of different vegetables, a shit ton of different meat, so that therefore I could then supply my body with a lot of protein, a lot of nutrients and fiber, which is gonna obviously be the stuff that will keep you feeling fullest for the longest period of time. Because obviously when you're traveling, you're cruising around, yes, you may obviously be that sort of traveler that just you know, sort of just goes to the pool and sits down at the little, like on your little pool chair, and that's fine, but obviously still you want to make sure you're feeling full. Yes, there's different sort of fruits and stuff like that. This buffet seemed to have a shitload of that, all sorts of different fruits and stuff going on, which was awesome because obviously they've got a lot of local you know, what's the word for it? Produce, that's the one, you know, around. So it's really cool that they highlight that in terms of their actual culture. If you have access to a vegetarian section, if you aren't actually vegetarian, I'd suggest that you still get amongst it, because this is where you can expand your horizon, if you will, into some other different vegetables that you can use to be able to then put into your own sort of food choices when you get home. So here at this buffet, they had grilled tomatoes, they had some cool different, you know, baked potatoes and stuff, which was fantastic. They had a different kind of baked beans that I haven't seen before, and then also some cool rice. But then what I found to be the absolute prime, and what I love really the most amongst all of that, was some lentil curry type stuff, which is absolutely amazing. I don't usually eat lentils too much, but they're a great source of dietary fiber, great source of protein as well. So I thought, hey, let's get some of that in as well. Usually you'll find also that in buffet joints, they usually have an egg station. In other words, a dude that is there to be able to make omelets and stuff like that. If this is something that rocks your boat, if you will, what I'd suggest you do is you aim to get an egg white omelette, because that's actually going to be loaded with protein. It means you won't get the fat that typically comes with a yolk, and it means you can add in custom the different vegetables like capsicum, onion, garlic and stuff like that. This is actually what I do, or what I have done at previous buffets that I've been to. Absolutely fantastic. You can get a lot of protein in right there, and it tastes absolutely amazing. They're really, really skilled when it comes to the art of making omelettes. If you see a salad making station, this is where you can obviously get pretty creative as well. You can add a heap of different vegetables and stuff like that. You can load it with some of the different dressings. I probably suggest to not opt for the dressing. Try and find one of the lightest type ones, like in terms of the ones that aren't cream laden or mayonnaise laden or stuff like that, because that will bump up your calories even more. Obviously aim to get lots of different colors, because lots of different colors will mean you're getting in lots of different vitamins and minerals to make your salad nice and exciting, and meaning you're loading your body with all sorts of different nutrients, which is obviously what we want, okay? We want to make sure that we've got a balance between the best of both worlds, so we're not here to just eat super duper clean and just, you know, invest that much money into a buffet, but then just only eat fruits and vegetables. It's about having that mix and allowing you to actually be able to, obviously if you follow me, you'll see that we're all about flexible dieting and making sure that we don't demonize anything, and that we're using all foods to be able to meet our targets. In this sort of scenario, when it comes to buffet, perfect opportunity to be able to actually utilize that, meaning that you're choosing yummy stuff, you're choosing nutrient dense stuff, and you're utilizing both to be able to meet your personal calorie targets, okay? And that's basically my personal strategy. That will enable you to dominate the buffet and be able to really just enjoy everything that's available for you. And there we go. How good was that breakfast buffet? So hopefully what you'll be able to take away and find valuable from actually watching that is the whole aspect that you can enjoy so much different foods without that necessary restriction, while still being able to generate kick-ass results. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Sustainability, variety and flexibility, so that you can be creating results no matter where you are, whether it's just at home or whether you are traveling and abroad or whatever. The idea and what I value so much and what I love coaching people in is how to actually get results without actually necessarily being stuck in a routine, but actually being able to have the power of choice, so that no matter what situation you're in, you can actually be selecting the foods that you want to eat that will fuel you for performance, that will fuel you for lifestyle, and obviously fuel you for happiness. And obviously, as you guys are aware, if you've been following me for a while, I'm someone that loves food so much. So buffets excite me like you wouldn't believe, because it's just like, oh, so much stuff I can eat. So obviously having a bit of self-control, a bit of discipline will serve you very well. And then hopefully with you applying this knowledge in your own life will enable you to be able to handle those situations better, be able to make great food choices that will serve you in achieving your fat loss goals, and therefore obviously be that extra bit more on your way towards building a tight and toned body. So if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe so that you're notified of all the new videos that you'll see me pumping out from week to week. And please, if you've been following the channel for a while, drop a comment below, let me know what you found valuable, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time in the Boss Fitness world. Take care.